I urge young people not to drink and don't set the buildings on fire if your boss asks you to. On November the 13th, 1999, or maybe it was November 12th, late in the night. It was Friday night or early Saturday morning. I was sleeping in a federal FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation office, and robbers came into the office. They wanted me to go to the store with them, so it was probably on Friday night, November 12th, 1999, because I had been drugged and put on a drip line, and my girlfriend called me in the evening, and the man was telling me to tell her that I wanted to break up with her. But he said I wanted to take a break, so I repeated him. I think it's time we need to take a break, but they had me drugged. $1 trillion robbery at the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, trillions of dollars. I wonder if Bill Clinton got this. But anyway, they took me to a store, drugged, and had me buy a bottle of liquor. At the time, I did not drink at all. I was a teetotaler. Had actually been like that for quite some time, and I kind of got off of it, and I went back to being a teetotaler. No booze whatsoever. But this guy takes me to the store. I think they even issued me a credit card. This is a federal government high-level banking regulator. But somebody come in, these commandos would come in during the day, and that evening, I believe they were like, they were like, I thought they were contractors earlier in the week, but they were actually people robbing the place. And they took me to the store, and they had me buy the liquor, and I was really drugged, and I was standing at the counter, and the only part I remember, the clerk said, "Is he okay?" And I said, "What?" And I was like, "Where am I at?" And I was in a store buying liquor, and the guy, he just said, "Oh, he's just something," and whatever. I think he had a drip line on me at the checkout. And next thing I know, I wake up the next day in the office. I'd actually slept in the office. I thought it was Thursday, and I was going on Friday, but it was Friday going on Saturday. And I would not drink the liquor that night. I remember they were trying to get me to drink it there at the office, or they'd taken me to an apartment. And I believe they also did other medical procedures, maybe a lobotomy. Try to erase my memory, because I caught these people robbing the FDIC. Not that it matters, 18 years. I didn't remember this till last year. But I would not drink. Had I drank, I'm sure when I escaped the office on the 13th, because I did escape, they would have, if I would have drank, I would have wrecked, and they would have probably killed me on the spot and said that I was in a fatal accident, drunk, or done some sort of crime. It was one of the most bizarre robberies I have ever seen. They also wanted me to ignite the building the next day. They brought the bottle in. It was empty. They had put fuel in it from a vehicle, probably taken from mine or another vehicle, but they put fuel into it, in that same liquor bottle. And the guy who I thought was my boss, he looked like him. He threw some papers on the floor, and he said, "I want you to light these. I want you to light this." I said, "I'm not going to light it. You light it." I said, "I'm going out for some fresh air. I made under 50,000 a year as a federal bank examiner. I'm not going to jail for robbing or for burning a federal building, the FDIC building in Roseville, California." So I wouldn't like the building. I started to go to leave, and I thought the contractors were leaving, and one guy, I called him Phony Tony Baloney, and then there was like some other guys, like Asians and so forth. It's like a mixed group robbing the place, but Phony Tony Baloney said, "You're not coming with us." I was headed towards the exit door. Then another guy, a little skinny guy, was taping the door, taping the door, sealing it around the edges. And he says, "You really messed up." And then somebody stunned me, and the next thing I know is Saturday evening, and I wake up sitting in my chair, and there's nobody in the office. I can't see anybody. I thought it was Friday. So I go towards the door. I remember I was kind of stumbling, maybe falling down a little bit. I got the door, it was extremely duct taped, and I had to pry it open, and the duct tape got stuck in the door, and I forced the door shut. It was one of those just like open and close kind of double doors, and metal and glass. And so I was closing the door. I thought it was Friday, and I didn't want to leave the door open with the duct tape stuck in there. But what it did was it got stuck in the seal. That duct tape got stuck in the seal when I went to close that big wad of duct tape. and I went to my truck. I was falling down the parking lot, and I went to my truck, and I locked the door, and I sat down, and I went to sleep, just like I'm sitting here right now. I went to sleep. My boss came up to the window, and he said, there's something going on here. Come with me. I said, no, I ain't coming with you. And then I said, I'm gonna go ahead and go. And he stomped his foot. I cracked it. I started the truck, and I took off. Then I got on the highway, and it was a horrific journey. I drove all the way from Roseville, California to San Francisco. It's probably about a 60-mile ride. I almost had a wreck at one occasion. I believe I caused several wrecks. I just hope I didn't hit anyone. There's a very good chance that I did, at least one person. I was passing out. I'd had a lobotomy, and they'd overdosed me with the drugs. And I believe I'd had a lobotomy and overdosed me with drugs and stunned me with a new weapon. But I made it to San Francisco, and then I went to this coffee shop. And then the people were messing with me. I passed out, and the waitress woke me up. She said, "There's somebody's messing with you. Are you okay?" My throat had been cut. I didn't know it, and I was actually kind of overdosed. I said, "I'm okay. I just need to go." So I went outside, and they stunned me again at my truck. Some two men approached me. They stunned me again. Next thing I wake up, and they're gone, and I'm standing there beside my truck. So then I drive all the way to Santa Rosa, California, and almost hit the Robin Williams Tunnel, the very entrance of it. Like the tunnel was round like that, I almost hit it in the face, you know what I mean, and on the face of the tunnel. But I woke up and I slammed on brakes. I drove a little way. Somebody called 911 on me, obviously. This fake cop comes up. It looked like the guy that was sitting on my left at the CEO table, where I was at the CEO spot on November 12th, 1999, during the commando raid at 10 a.m. He looked like him, a tall guy. And he would actually, after the commando raid came in, the tall guy, he had gotten up and standing where the guard had been with his back to me, and I believe he was killing people in the offices. So let's see here. You know, on another occasion, I made it to my girlfriend's house, and I was stunned there at my girlfriend's house. I was stunned. Me and my girlfriend were both stunned. She said she saw me on the news. I didn't believe it. On another occasion, I noticed my badge had been dotted on the teeth. I had a FDIC badge with a picture. I noticed there were 2 dots on teeth. I said, "Who did this?" And what happened was, I remember someone lifted my arm up, and they lifted it real wide, and they said, "dot, dot" on the picture. And the guy had told me before that, I was discussing gun ownership, and they said, if you have a gun in this job, they will dot your teeth. A regional director had had his brains blown out around 1991, the FDIC, San Francisco, and I just rubbed the ink off, and I kind of forgot it till just recently what had happened. So that's my story on that. I also believe that many documents are being signed with people they don't even know they do it. We need to have a sanity check for all expenditures. We're being ripped off by many international corporations, I believe, with incentives. And also, when those banks fail and assets are taken out, they're signing those assets over to people who are not even in our country, I believe, or at least, you know, they're not entitled to. They're stealing it. I've been punished so much. I've been sent to jail. I've been sent to the insane asylum. I have been attacked on the highways. I've been stunned and injected. I've been injected several times when I was going to get health care. One time knocked unconscious in the hill to see just how crazy I was. But they might have been doing a medical procedure on me to make my memory come back. So this is Kurt Brown, St. Rambone Mobile Audit Club. You can Google plus Kurt Brown, St. Rambone Mobile Audit Club. And you can also go to Facebook, Kurt Brown Mobile Audit Club. And I have at the Google Plus account, I have a GoFundMe account. I need health care pretty bad. I've got several health conditions. I'm afraid to go to state or federal facilities because I've been injected and held in both places. I'm considering leaving the United States to get a brain scan to see what all happened to me, because I just woke up really to this last year in 2017. Now it's 2018. Be very careful with your women and children if they work in the federal banking regulatory industry and generally in government buildings.